Hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Okay, Accel World. The others are gonna come later. Accel World, episode 21. This one was called Insurrection. Now, everyone saw last week's. We know how dull that was. Okay, just to let everyone know, next week's Haru's confronting him. He's gonna confront Nomi. And it seems like that's what's going down there. Now, this episode, I'm gonna give 3.5 out of 5, only because it was just, basically what went down in this episode was Haru and Taku. They decided that they need that Haru was telling him how of the Incarnate system, and apparently he needed to find a way to get Taku to learn this system so he could use it in battle. Now, the only way they could figure this out is if someone knew it. Now, the unfortunate thing was he didn't really know anyone who knew it. But he did know of Scarlet Rain. Nico. Yes, Scarlet Rain. Remember her? The little girl with the red hair, and she's like, ooh. Her personality's totally different. She doesn't act like that. They talk to her. They set up a meeting to meet up with her. And they go to the meeting, and it's just at this, desert place. FYI, the desert place is actually the headquarters of the Red Legion. So they're there, and she's eating strawberries and all cute, and then Haru's there, and he begins to talk, and before they get to the place, he mentions to Taku that about the whole thing with the incident in the showers. So, and all the girls and everyone is avoiding Haru because of the situation and so on and so forth. And what ends on happening is they get on the bus and they're all buddy. It's like a yayoi scene between Haru and Taku. It was really embarrassing for both of them. And he's saying that he's sorry and that he did this with chiyuri, and he Taku understands. He doesn't really hold anything against him, but the girls in the bus are looking at them like, oh, they're going to kiss and stuff, But anyway, moving right along. They get into the restaurant. They meet up with Scarlet Rain, Nico. And, it's all buddy until Haru publicly. He's very bad, Haru, with being very secretive. So he just we want you to teach Taku about the Incarnate system. And she's like, what? And she drops her plate and she's like, boom, pissed off. He's like, come to the back with me. Like, she's so pissed off. Like, she changes on a dime. Man, I love her. Of the females in this show, I would have to say her, Skyraker, and Kuryuki-hime. Those three are like, whoo, top, really top. So they get her to the back, and the maid who's actually there is still in the room, in the restaurant. She's actually Scarlet Rain's partner. Yes, her partner. Now apparently, her partner teams up with her. Now, her name, believe it or not, I just want to briefly state this before I get in further in the summary, is named Leopard Blood. And let me just real quick see if I'm correct on that. Blood Leopard. No, not Leopard Blood. Blood Leopard. Now, they go into the world. They hook up. And she's like complaining to Haru, says, stop saying, you shouldn't have said that, you idiot. In public place. That's not something to say in a public place, Come on, you got better brains, Haru. And she's going to help them with the Incarnate system. And he's like hugging her foot, and she kicks him in the face, and they get into the world. And in order to use the Incarnate system, you need to go through some kind of traumatic event. You have to face your, fears. Now, she explains that there are several different kinds of the Incarnate system. You have the first kind, which is just a normal attack, which what Haru did. Second kind, which is used for speed. And then there's, I think, there were a lot mentioned, but there were two others that were also mentioned that she can't do anymore, apparently, Scarlet Rain, which were offensive and defensive. One for armor and one for just a massive attack. Now, she said that the more, and there were rules behind it. One of the rules was that it had to shine really brightly. And also that an Incarnate attack can only be used to go up against an Incarnate attack. So in other words, one of those sayings, fight fire with fire. And basically we get Taku explaining to Haru that he was bullied. Yes, he was bullied in the 3rd and 5th grade. The seniors in his kendo class would continuously bully him and just hit him with their kendo sticks and bang, 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 bang. And he would always, and his weapon that he has on his right arm, that thrusting, jettison stake, he always would want to use that against the people that hurt him. Now, while this is going on, and there's going to be a training session between Neko, or Scarlet Rain, and Taku. So Haru's going to leave. Before he leaves, Neko goes on top of him and says, you have to give it a name. And she's like, he says, I'll call it sword laser. You know what she says? She looks at him and she says, lame. Like a funny moment there. Lame. And he's like, what do you mean? Why don't you tell me your move? And she's like, no. And then he leaves. He gets out of, he bursts Link's out. And right there is Blood Leopard. Like, she's right there. And she's like, Blood Leopard. She's right there. And she's like, come with me. She's being very forceful and shit. And they're basically, while they're training Taku and Scarlet Rain, in the real world, they're going to go to Akihabara to explore the situation of people who aren't listed in the match lists. So what happens is she just drags Haru all the way to Akihabara, which is the location of the Yellow King, Yellow Radio, the Yellow King's Legion, Yellow Legion. They go to Akihabara, and it's just so funny seeing Haru with his mane. She's so forceful and shit. She's like dragging him all over the place. I found that so funny. So they get to Akihabara, and they go in there and they go into a dive cafe. And they dive in, and they go, and what I found very strange about this was Haru, while they went into the dive, when they dived into the dive cafe, into the world, in Direct Link, Haru was a pink dinosaur. And she's like, it suits you. Oh my god, it's so funny. And she was obviously a blood leopard, so she was just like this red leopard with yellow eyes and shit. It was pretty freaking awesome. I like that. Blood leopard. She's freaking really good. They go down into this arena, this underground place in Akihabara that birthlinkers go to fight. And she's talking to this guy who's like the head honcho who does the fights, and she basically says she doesn't want any bull. She wants to know right off the bat, about the people under match lists, the ones that aren't listed in the match list when you fight them. And he says, "Oh, we've been having a problem with that recently. It's becoming a real problem." And he says, one person that has done this, I'm not 100% sure. Let me see if it's listed here. Because I heard the name and then I just forgot it. Which is a problem. Fortunately, well, I believe the name, from what I understand, he called him Rusty Jigsaw. Or Rusty Jig. I know that's what he said in the episode. And then after we hear the name of the person, we get him showing up, and he's got this evil smirk on his face, and that's more or less where the episode ends. So this one was Insurrection. And now, like I said, I'm giving this a 3.5. A little bit of interesting things going on, like I said, in this episode, and that's pretty much what happens. The reason I'm giving it a 3.5, it was some action, and it was some conflict with Taku fighting Scarlet Rain, and everything else, and she's helping them now, so it's getting interesting. But like I said before, next week's the killer episode. Haru's gonna fight Nomi again. Now, this is supposedly someone. To the person who gave me a comment saying, "Oh, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens," telling me how each round of Haru versus Nomi went, I'm not holding anything against them, but this is supposedly like the clincher. This is where it all comes forward. Haru lays down the law, and he supposedly defeats Nomi. We don't know how this is going to go. Now, supposedly enough, Kuryu still hasn't been shown, which I find very peculiar. I mean, after next week's episode, we only got 2 more. And that ain't no joke. 2 more episodes, and then it's done. And I also just found out that the game, yes, there's an Accel World game coming out September 13th. It's going to come with an OVA. I don't know if we're going to get it in America. We'll have to get an import maybe or something like that. But, that's the story there. Now, like I said, it was a good episode, good insight between reactions with Scarlet Rain, Taku, and Haru and everything. Taku, man, went through some deep shit. That was pretty crazy with him. And now we're getting some deeper thoughts with what's going on. And like I said, next week, Nomi, you're going down, man. You don't know what you're doing. Stupid motherfucker. Now, to the people who are pissed off, stop me. I'm upset because I'm calling Chiyuri a bitch and everything. Well, all right, I'll cut her some slack. Let's see what she can do. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what she does this coming episode and so on and so forth. Then we'll see. But should be interesting next week. Nomi. The only thing I have to say to Nomi is this. Burn in hell! That's right, I hate his guts. Hate him. Hate him with a passion. But that's all I got for you guys for today. Or I should say morning. Later today I will do everything else, which is just Fairy Tail, Campione, Bimbo Gamiga, and I believe Kenichi? Yeah. So look forward to that. It's been Bankai 922. See you guys later.